Hello, everyone. It's Brian here, and I'm doing a contest entry for Americana Sam called My 5-Year Contest. That's such a great title, I don't even have to tell you what it means. And I don't think I have to tell you who Americana Sam is. I think you already know, but I will leave a link in case you don't. So, for the 5-year contest, he has made 5 questions, all revolving around the number 5. And coincidentally, or not, the drawing date is on January 5th. 2026. So the only other stipulation is that we don't make these videos too long because Sam has to watch them all, and that would be a chore for him. I was going to make this 55 minutes long, but I've changed my mind. So question number 1. Show an active artist who hasn't released an album for 5 or more years. And honestly, the very first band that occurred to me is a band that maybe is better known as an 80s band. That is the Psychedelic Furs. This is Made of Rain. So they're still touring, still performing, but their last record, which is this one, came out in the summer of 2020, so 5 years ago. So I think somewhere around July 2020 this came out. And I would say that this is a really terrific record. So if you only know the 80s Psychedelic Furs, you might want to give this one a shot if you haven't heard it. It's a solid record, double record. I actually like it more than I expected to. So I would check that out if you were a Furs fan and don't know what they're doing lately, like within the last 5 years. Now, number 2, show a 5th album in an artist's discography, and I thought I would at least include one thing that I know that Sam likes. So this is an obvious choice, perhaps, but Bob Dylan's 5th record from 1965 is "Bringing It All Back Home," which I think by most accounts is a top-tier Bob Dylan record with tracks like Subterranean Homesick Blues, Maggie's Farm, Love Minus Zero, Mr. Tambourine Man. This is a fantastic record, and I know Sam likes it. I know there's some people who don't like Bob Dylan. Never understood that. That's okay. Number 3, show the 5th album on your record shelf. I think this is the one where there's some interpretation because some people file their records by genre, so they might have a separate section. I mean, I do have separate sections in these crates, which you can't see. I have down here, I have soundtracks, compilations. There's a classical section. There's a jazz kind of section. But generally speaking, I file things from A to Z properly. So Leonard Cohen is under C and not L. Bob Dylan's under D and not B. But there's one variation that I do that conforms to the ALA filing rules, and that is that any band that starts with a cardinal number is at the beginning. Now, some record stores do this, but most don't. So, for example, 10,000 Maniacs is up at the front, not in the T section. 10cc, up there, not in the T section. That's if it actually has a real cardinal number, right? So 13 Engines is up there. So the 5th record in my collection, following these rules, is 5440, starting conveniently with a 5. This is a pretty well-known band from British Columbia. They're probably best known for writing a monster hit. Well, it was a song that was a hit for somebody else. Well, it was a hit for them too, but it was an international hit for a different band, and that is I Go Blind. It always pains me when I find out that people don't know that this band wrote it. On the other hand, they got huge paychecks for that song for royalties, so I guess they're doing better. But anyway, 5440, this is their 2nd record, self-titled, and they're known for that track, and among other tracks. They're pretty, I guess they're still a staple on some radio stations, but 5440. I do have a CD in which they write out 5440 in lettering, but traditionally their name is in numbers 5440. I don't want to bore you with the origins of 5440. I've mentioned it before, so we'll skip that. Number 4, I Can't Drive 55, an album you love to listen to in the car. Now, I will say this is a very American question because in Canada, well, speed limits are governed by provinces, but in Ontario, we have kilometers, of course, so it's usually either 80, which is 50, or 100, which is approximately 60. There are some highways I've driven on that are 90 kilometers an hour, which is approximately 55, but generally speaking, this 55 thing is kind of foreign to me, but I get the point. Now, an album I played relentlessly in the car, just loved taking with me on trips, was Lou Reed's Ecstasy, and I will dedicate this brief section to Ben Rankins. He knows why. And by the way, I would take the CD, of course, or my iPod, not the record, obviously, but to me, this is one of Lou Reed's stronger records. It's probably his best later record. And so if you think that Lou Reed was washed up by the end of the 70s, you might want to check this out because there's some killer tracks on here like Paranoid Key of E, Mystic Child, Future Farmers of America. That's a killer track. So yeah, interesting cover. And number 5, a $5 record. Show an album you paid $5 or less for. And this might surprise you because several years ago I was part of a email chain, and I got this email that said if you go to HMV, which really doesn't exist in Canada anymore. They have some outposts in Toys R Us, but anyway, it's a long story. But HMV downtown in the Eaton Center I was told they had copies of this particular record, brand new, sealed for $3.99, and I thought that can't be true. There's no way they're selling this what would normally be like a $35 or $40 record for $3.99. But I walked in and I saw 3 copies of this record. I bought one. I should have bought them all. Well, I thought about buying them all, but I thought, that's a little unfair to the next guy coming in. But I bought the Tragically Hip's We Are the Same, double record, perfect shape, brand new, sealed for $3.99. To this day, I have no idea why they were $3.99. Maybe they were overstocked. It seemed like a ridiculous price, but I walked out of there with this really interesting Tragically Hip record. This is the album they put out, their third last record from 2009. I think was their 11th record. So it's not it wouldn't feature in my top 5 Tragically Hip records, but still, for $3.99 plus tax, I walked away with that record. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please check out Sam's channel if you don't know it, and I'll see you in the next video.